we haven't even talked about Elon. That was insane. Like
begging to go.
Dude, on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
With his wife.
6 a.m. with his wife.
Yeah.
And Epstein tries to go like,
man,
I don't know if she'll like
she
what
may not like
happens
it
here.
here. The ratio's kind of off. And he's like, she'll be fine. Like, she'll get over it. You're like, dude,
So that's a great example.
God.
You can see
like,
Epstein doesn't really like Elon, but is still being very diplomatic and being very nice with him and saying like, hey, the parties are actually canceled. It's not you.
Right.
Like he's an absolute operator at all levels when he's dealing with the highest draft.
Or the tour of SpaceX, which, Epstein or Elon always said he didn't give him one. And then Epstein goes, thanks for the tour.
Sarcastically.
I mean, maybe, but it's one
Do
of
you
those
subscribe to this allegation that Elon makes that Bill Gates shorted Tesla at the behest of Epstein?
I don't know. I've never followed it.
you heard
I mean,
this?
I feel like
Never you told
nobody.
me.
I feel like zero people are trustworthy in that entire story. So it's one of those where I have no clue. And at this point, I'm not exactly in the business of believing Elon, considering how this whole Epstein situation went down.
Of course, you have to be questionable of everybody. But so I think you were about to bring up one more thing, but then I do have an overall question.
I think we've hit most of the billionaires that are on my list.
Well, no, I mean, I want you to go
on this point. I just want to say that there's so many people. I mean, I've just heard justifications where they go, "Oh, I didn't know," and then people say like, "Oh, maybe they didn't know." You don't Google every person you get connected to, and I've heard people say,
I disagree with that, but sure.
as do I.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say like, "Oh, they just look past it because the charge is kind of bullshit," and he says that he wasn't really even in prison that long, and they're able to look past it because it does something better for them. But there are people that got connected to Epstein that turned him down. And there's a bunch of them that just said like,
Joe Rogan.
I want nothing to do with this.
Norm Finkelstein.
Yeah.
Rogan. A bunch of them were like, no, man.
They were just like, I
Yeah.
Googled him and this guy is bad. I don't want anything to do with this. And to me, that completely skewers this whole defense of like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't Google it.
Totally.
It's like, well, there's so many other people that did. So
And
why
in a
could
lot
you
of
not do the
cases,
same
the
thing?
people who said no had way less power, right? They were not nearly as rich. Like, for example, Reid Hoffman, one of his defenses is he's like, oh, well, he would only help me raise money if I went to, it's like, dude, what do you need to raise money for? You're worth like $40 billion. Like, you need help raising money? Or whatever. And your collective net worth of you and all your friends is going to be in the hundreds of billions, right? Why do you need this obscure financier to help you finance like an MIT or Harvard donation? Like, even that explanation passes no smell test for me. Same with Bill Gates. His original explanation was what? Oh, well, he was going to help me raise money for the Bill and Melinda Gates. It's like, dude, you were one of the richest men in the world. Like, what do you need this guy for? Allegedly, the real influence campaign was Bill Gates needed him to help him win the Nobel Peace Prize. But honestly, the more that we see now, it's like, dude, maybe there was something going on in terms of the social life that Epstein is offered, is able to offer him. And then when Bill cuts him off, what does he do? He memorializes this memo to himself about Bill Gates and the STDs and all of this stuff. Like that's how it operates, is that he got in with him. Maybe Bill realizes he's a fraud or he gets upset with him. That's exactly when the Epstein email is going to strike, right? That's when the memo comes. It's like, no, you don't get to walk away from me. I walk away from you, if ever at all. And like that's the nature of his
Blood in,
relationship.
blood out.
Right. It's the nature of his relationship with all of these guys.
And he's charming and brings you in. And if you try to fuck him, then he has stuff on you.
Yeah, exactly. He was nasty. I mean, you see it in his communication with his victims, right? And how commanding and controlling he is. And then also in the way that, like, when you cross him, all the people who did business with him, they're like, oh, you do not want to be on the other side.
Why?
Like,
What happened?
Because he wouldn't pay his bills, or he would go through a protracted legal battle, or he would call somebody to yell at you. Like, his MO was, if we're in business, you're going to be my friend, everything forever. But if you mess with me, it's going to be a problem.
So who was doing the punishment at his behest?
Well, he had a lot of lawyers. I mean, he was a very wealthy man, right? Well, I can't name all of them. One of the lawyers, you want to look it up, one of the head of the law firm just stepped down. Who was it? Law firm stepped down, Epstein. Yeah. Make sure I get his name.
Because these guys they're not co-conspirators in the sex trafficking per se, but they are co-conspirators in terms of the operation. So you look at like a Harvey Weinstein type. Well, again, they're not guilty of sex trafficking, but they are guilty of maintaining his power structure.
By the way, this is a
lawyer,
no shit
that's
thing.
their job.
Paul Weiss is a massive law firm. Like, anybody who knows it, like, this is a very influential. So to have Brad Karp, who was the chairman of Paul Weiss, to step down over his relationship with Epstein, big deal, right? Because you could actually see Karp once thanked Epstein for, quote, hosting him for a once-in-a-lifetime evening. Epstein told Karp, "You're always welcome, and that there are many, many nights of unique talents. You will be invited often." Look, here, let me give the innocent one. He often held dinners and lunches with very wealthy, powerful, rich people, smart people, MIT law professors. A lot of people actually went to those and they didn't know anything about the sex stuff. Now, I will say, some of them who did go were like, yeah, even when we were at innocent dinners, there was something off about the guy, or he would have women who were sitting in his lap, right, at the current meeting.
The paintings around
right,
his
the
mansion,
paintings
weird.
were all like deeply sexual and disgust. Like, so there's not a full off of just doing that. Like,
it
if you
sounds
went
like
in there,
how
you
people
probably
talk
knew.
about Diddy parties. It's
Right,
like,
no, literally.
we were all at the Diddy party, but I ain't seen none of that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's how everybody
It's
talks
like,
about
yeah,
it.
but you definitely knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
It's like you definitely knew that the power dynamic. You can smell it, dude.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a room like that, you're like, something is not right here. It's like, especially with those pictures. Also, I just do want to return to that thing. People were like, oh well, I had no idea. After 2007, like, I'm sorry, Google exists. The charge is registered sex offender, solicitation of a minor for like.
Is it
How can you
registered
get out of
sex
it?
offender? I thought that
He was a
this-
registered sex offender.
But I thought the
Yeah.
specific charge, the sex offender registry was wiped after a year.
I forget the timing of it, but he had to register as a sex offender.
But I thought that
in the
it
immediate
went
term
away
afterwards.
afterward. Like I thought that was why part of the reason why it was such a
forget how-
sweetheart deal
I
is
forget how
because
long
he
the
could operate
registration-
as a normal citizen afterwards.
I don't have it in front of me. I'd have to look it up. But the registration term, I don't know. But the solicitation charge is out there. It was literally public record.
The solicitation charge, yes.
Right, but it literally said solicitation for a prostitution involving a minor.
Right.
Like, I would never meet anybody like, like, would you?
No,
It's just a
course
Google.
not.
It's a single
Yeah.
Google. It's simple Google.
And you can go to
Yeah.
Wayback Machine, and you can look at what the Google search in 2016 was.
Right.
On Epstein. And you get 3 links down, you go, Miami man arrested in
Yes.
prostitutions. And you're like, this is crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's like, no, this is not
And
happening.
then you're going to continue to like do business
You
with
can
them?
also see, I believe, I don't have it in the document, but I think there was some email where a firm was helping him edit his Wikipedia page or like edit search results. That you could say. So like he was very concerned exactly maybe about this, that people were out there Googling him who he was supposed to meet with, and then they're removing some of the search results. So
You mentioned earlier that
Yeah.
you got the email leaks. Are
Yeah.
these different emails from what?
some
is
of them
being-
are in there. Not all of them are in there.
Okay.
So one of his emails was hacked by this collective group. They gave access to my colleague Ryan. Ryan shared it with me. Actually, not just me. Bloomberg News got their hands on it. A couple other news outlets, and we all went through. I mean, it has a lot of personal information, so we can't just publish all of it. And you have to be responsible. But we published most of what we thought was newsworthy. That underage email I showed you,
Yeah.
that was some from his
Got it.
hacked email. I don't even know if that's in the file.
Was
actually.
there an email? You know how he sent himself an email like to maybe blackmail
Yeah.
Gates.
Right.
Was there one like that about Trump?
No, there hasn't been one that I've been able to find yet. I haven't seen one, at least in the sent email. And I checked. To be fair, you should remember this. He changes email all the time. The hacked email that I had access to was only active for a select few year period. Every time he would get in trouble, he would change his email. So there's like 10 emails out there. There's a pre-99 email. There's a 99 to 05 email. There's a 05 to whatever, like his legal emails that I kind of had access to when he was negotiating his plea agreement. That's why it was interesting for me, because it's like a very dark time in Jeffrey's life.
Yeah.
But then there's Ghislaine changed her email too. She had multiple different email addresses. So even what you see here, there were a couple that are in there. But that's why I think the Channel 4 story about how maybe only 2% of what's been released, like that's the whole point. There's still so much out there. I mean, my dream is the pre-99 stuff. That's where it all
And
is.
nobody has touched that?
No, but there's nothing in there, man. I mean, nothing in there about all of that. That's where Les Wexner, Hoffenberg, Iran like that's the real stuff.
Who's got their hands on that?
Who knows? I don't even know if it exists at this point. I'd be shocked.
Oh, it
if still-
exists.
I mean, maybe
unless
if
it
it
got
still
destroyed.
exists.
Like
Yeah.
there's stuff at like Zora Ranch that's now
Right.
in the hands of like a new private owner. And like the DOJ is like, we're going to investigate what's going on because there might be bodies.
Yeah, what's
But
going
we're
on
going to
with
get
that?
there in a few weeks.
You want
It's
to pull
like-
this up, Griffin?
Yeah.
Zora Ranch.
You're not
So-
going to tell someone that you're going to go investigate where
So
their dead
Zora
bodies are.
Ranch
Like,
was an Epstein property that has
Mexico,
never
right?
been searched. Yeah, and by the way, with New Mexico, one of the Epstein-linked politicians that nobody remembers now is Bill Richardson. He died, but he was the governor of New Mexico. He was a very prominent Democrat.
Did
Like
he
if-
die or did he die?
No, he like died.
Oh, okay.
But if you paid attention to like I knew Bill Richardson, like he was very connected with the Clinton machine. I think he went to North Korea at one point. Like he was a very prominent. Like if you were in the news business 10, 15 years ago, you knew who Bill Richardson was, and he was deeply connected to Jeffrey Epstein. It actually comes out in some of the files. So just to connect the tissue to Zorro Ranch and the New Mexico property, because not a lot of people pay attention to Zorro Ranch and the Jeffrey Epstein connection. In fact, I believe it was bought by a Texas politician or who is running for office right now. But New Mexico has now approved a new commission, if we want to pull that up, Griffin, quote, truth commission on the Epstein ranch abuse. Lawmakers said the panel will compel testimony to discover what happened at Epstein's Zorro Ranch and who knew about any of the alleged abuse that happened there. But multiple women have said that they were abused at Zorro Ranch. I do believe that it was never raided. They've raided all the other properties, New York, Caribbean, Palm Beach, and Paris. Never touched Zorro Ranch. So look, who knows? I don't know. It's been a long time. I'm not quite sure like exactly what's left there at this point. Like at that time was the time to like sit around and gather the evidence. But this just goes to show like the sprawling nature of the investigation. And even in terms of like what remains and is interesting, let's say like in the files is what remains most important. And what I kept emphasizing last time is the money. And can you Google Ron Wyden Epstein Treasury records? I wanted to make a public call for this. These still have not yet been released. And these are like, when we talk about files, this type of stuff that should be. The Treasury Department is sitting on a trove of suspicious activity reports that the banks put together after Epstein's death that detail like $1 billion in suspicious wire transfers all around the world. That is what I want to get my hands on. And that's the stuff that's not released. That's the stuff that, unfortunately, it's not sexy, like we talked about for politicians. Yeah, there you go. Wyden expands Epstein investigation with probe of hundreds of suspicious bank Mellon transactions. Epstein moved nearly $400 million in and out of accounts in a bank of New York Mellon through 270 wire transfers. That's just one bank. There's multiple other banks that have suspicious activity reports just with stuff like this. This is the whole story, piecing together where the money went, who it came from, and that is what actually would really implicate and screw a lot of rich and powerful people. Because that could show money laundering. That could show the tax avoidance. That could show the shell companies and the payments of in and out and the intelligence networks. See, I mean, who the hell knows? Mossad, everybody would be involved with something like this. This has never been released, never been touched.
This wasn't required that it was given to the public. Why?
It's part of the Treasury Department. It's a different outside of the Department of Justice. So that's part of the difficulty with this. But this is the
Can we FOIA the Treasury Department?
You can, but this one would, ongoing investigation. I mean, we could try. It would probably take years, as I understand. And by the way, if you're listening to this, some people have seen these files. The investigators from the committee, they were allowed to read them, but they couldn't take any notes. Like they were allowed to go in and review the file, but they weren't allowed to take any notes, and they're not allowed to talk about it. So I've been trying to anonymously get in touch with anybody who's seen
like
this.
who, for example?
With people on Ron Wyden's staff, a couple other people on that on the committee, the finance committee. So there's not that many people, and even then, I think they'd be speaking out of turn. But if you want to talk anonymously, I'll protect you. I would love to know what's in the files.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Epstein is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe he's dead. Maybe he's somewhere else.
Right.
But he's only a cog in this greater machine. So my question is, who is the next Epstein?
I do not know who the next Epstein is. I have a suspicion of where it will come out of. I think I have a section here
Which one do you want to start with?
Next Epstein. Let's start with Eric Schmidt, okay? So Eric Schmidt, he's the ex-Google CEO. Here, he was more recently spotted with 27-year-old daughter of a German politician. Let's just say we've often heard about Eric and some of his exploits, but I'm putting this together with a couple of other stories. Can we go to the Elon and Sergey story, for example?
Sergey Brin?
Yeah. So do you guys remember the whole Nicole Shanahan, who was RFK Jr.'s running mate? And she was married to Sergey Brin. And allegedly, according to this Wall Street Journal article, she slept with Elon Musk, apparently at a party. And that was the precipitating of their divorce. And Sergey, by the way, was named sometime in Epstein. And then go to that polyamory article, the next one that I put from 2017. This I have just heard, and the reason I'm putting this all up of Eric Schmidt, Sergey, Elon, and the ins and outs of Silicon Valley's new sexual revolution. This is from 2017 about polyamory. There was and has been now a movement in tech over the last decade of transhumanism.
Yeah.
You guys know what that is, like specifically with AI, you know, and to like move past any normalcy and to break boundaries. And one of that was in the area of their sexual morality. And that's why they're embracing polyamory. Well, if you put all this stuff together of the transhumanists and of the questioning, whoever the next Epstein is, it will come from somewhere like this. And I think it's going to come right. I mean, think about it. That's where the money, the power, where's all of US GDP is tied up in AI. In data capital expenditure. It's in the hands of Zuckerberg and Sergey, Google, Amazon, Jeff Bezos. I mean, God, look at him and his, the whole Lauren Sanchez thing. So I'm just saying it's going to come. And then the rise of personalities like Ayala Girl, we can put her up her. Griffin loves this particular
Are you guys familiar?
Do you guys know who this is?
No.
Ayala. She's a Substack girl.
I think she's in Austin right now.
I think she's in Austin.
Yeah.
She frequently writes about her sexual exploits, and
Oh,
also
I've seen her on Twitter.
Yeah, she does like research about.
She does like data-based analysis
On her clients.
orgies.
Yeah, on her
she'll
orgies.
like host an orgy
Yeah.
and then take data based on it.
The number of men who did
number
this
of men,
to me,
how many times they
how many
ejaculate.
times. Yeah, exactly.
But and in one recently, she took a kid's virginity.
Yeah, that's right.
In the
and Jen
orgy,
wrote about it.
and wrote about
Yeah.
taking kids' virginity
Yeah.
in the orgy and did a bunch of data.
And
on
anyway,
it. So
she's very
that's-
popular. She's very
Someone above
popular in
18.
tech. She's very popular
I
in
believe
tech.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
alleging, to be clear, I'm not alleging underage abuse in any of these cases. What I'm telling you is painting a picture of all of these prominent tech personalities where we clearly can see a moral degenerate framework. And obvious, in my opinion, if there were to be a new Epstein, it will come somewhere out of Silicon Valley. As we saw, many of the Silicon Valley people were involved with Epstein. So if there's going to be a new one, it's going to come out of this nexus of power, money, control, a belief that we're better than everybody else, building the technology of the future. I mean, shit, a lot of the stuff Epstein was into, like eugenics and, his DNA. Can we put that New York Times article up there from Eugenics? Jeffrey Epstein's hope to seed the world with his DNA, to seed the human race. Like, he was literally obsessed with impregnating women, at the Zorro Ranch, at his New Mexico ranch. Like, this
Does he have any kids?
we don't know.
Well,
it's exactly.
a
There's all
minute.
these references in the files to
According
stolen
to
babies.
Andrew Windsor's former wife, she emails him.
Andrew Windsor is Prince Andrew?
Yeah, stripped of his title, so it's just Andrew.
Now it's
Andrew.
Andrew.
Got it.
And
You get a last name now. You're no longer a Brazilian football player.
But his wife or ex-wife sends an email to Epstein saying, "Congrats on the baby boy."
Yeah. Right.
And then also immediately follows it up with saying, "Hey, I feel like our friendship is so fake. Like you kind of ghosted me. I feel like you just wanted to get close to me to get tight with Prince Andrew." It's just like a weird, like the whole exchange is bizarre.
Isn't there? Do I have in there the diary entry? Diary baby stolen? I'm fairly certain that I do. Let's find. Yeah, here it is. Let's
Perhaps
put
it
this
says
one.
baby. Perhaps it's
There
baby
was
boy.
this
I can't-
diary entry, a 32-page diary of an Epstein. This was part of the files. By the
This
way,
is
again,
so
not
weird.
confirmed. Epstein, a victim, she writes that she gave birth to a baby girl and was used as an incubator. That's what she wrote in. And this is very cryptic and it's very strange. She says, "Controlled all by Jeffrey all the time. Go to New Mexico. What in the hell? This makes no sense. What about school? He is now controlling everything when it used to be Ghislaine, who some days acts like she hates me. I'm tired of keeping this secret. I know people are wondering, but I can't tell. I'm exhausted. I don't understand why she's treating me on some days like I'm the enemy when we lay in bed together and she is how she used to be, warm. She eventually, this is, like I said, this is like 32 pages, but at the end, she says, I miss the person I was before I was made into what feels as a human incubator. And she says, this is not surprising. There's no such thing as a child prostitute. They are children and cannot consent. They are missing the biggest in my own backyard and so many more. So yeah, I mean, look, again, this is 32 pages. It's rambling. Like, we have no idea what this entire thing was about. But I did check. It is an actual entry, which is in there. She alleges the incubation. I will say there have been multiple instances of these transhumanist billionaires. Google the thing about the Chinese billionaire, IVF babies, California, where recently in family court, it came out that a Chinese billionaire was paying American models to have his babies via IVF. He would never even meet them. Yeah, here we go. The Chinese billionaire having dozens of US born babies via surrogacy. So he was like paying, sorry, I said IVF previously. He did surrogacy where he would have his genes or his children like impregnated into these surrogates who he'd never met before, and he would be their legal father in the court of law, and in exchange he would pay these people for years and years, like give them a stipend to raise his children in America. And it's all based on this belief of just like paying people to spread your seed to as many as possible.
I think
Elon is involved allegedly in this type of stuff.
So is the Signal guy, right?
Pavel Durov,
yeah.
with Telegram.
There you go.
He's basically, I think he has a deal where any woman can carry his child, and he'll like pay them a small amount or something to that effect. And anyone on earth can have his kid. And I think he has like allegedly thousands of children.
Right. So there you go. Right. So I just gave you guys like multiple super rich examples.
Thousands of children.
Guys, there's multiple of these billionaires
And they
who are out there.
This is the allegation.
like,
I don't know exactly how many. Maybe I'm not being responsible. But I think he has a contract and paperwork where basically he's absolved of any type of like fatherly duties, that this is just a donation.
Right.
But he'll donate to anyone.
So what is this about? Is this some like weird flex?
No, it's not a flex. It's like Genghis Khan. Like they believe that they're better than us, that they need to spread their seed, that their seed is morally and superior, morally and genetically superior to the rest of us, and that they have a social responsibility to perpetuate their genetics in the gene pool as much as humanly possible to achieve domination. And like it's quite literally about that. And that is Epstein at his core was a transhumanist. He also, at one point, see if you could find that email where he makes fun of Bill Gates for Christian morality. He like makes fun of Bill Gates for being like, oh, Bill is this idiot. He has this Christian idea that all humans are created equal, right? Like he was like, what a naive and a stupid belief.
And so
that we're all the same and we're all equal.
I've heard different people have these discussions. Like, what do you think? Like, how do you think somebody comes to these conclusions where they're trying to justify their success or their power?
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? Is it like a baked-in narcissism that gets wrapped up in some like pseudo-technical justification?
Yes.
So that's it. You're just trying to reframe your narcissism for why you are the supreme being.
Right. I mean, we're all in a unique position. Like we've actually met a lot of like very famous people or like powerful people or even like successful people. And in my experience, there's two kinds. There's one kind who is like, man, let me tell you, it's pure luck.
Yo.
Yeah. Like, it's like, there's one kind who is like, there are 15 other guys who I started out with who were just as good as me. I happened for this, and this, it all lined up perfectly. I'm going to make the best of it because I'm very uniquely in this position and I am not better than anybody else. Like, in fact, a lot of people who I knew who were better than me ended up not making it, and that's a tragedy. And in fact, you should try. A lot of those people will try to lift other people up around them, right? And then there's the other kind who is like, no, it was only me, right? And it was they're weak, they tapped out, they don't have what it takes. Those are the types of people who in general will subscribe to this. It's very enticing. You're a billionaire, man. You're in the top 0.0001%. Of course your seed should be spread. You're better than everybody else. You hire everybody around you. Like think about even in the best circumstances for those people to stay grounded. And then how easy is it when there's this whole permission structure, technology structure, ideology that says, no, you're better. We should just keep cranking it up. Yes, spread your seed as much as possible. Genetically engineer. Oh, if you have a different sexual proclivity, it's okay. The law does not apply to you, right? The law, like Andrew, you texted me. You were like, why do we pay taxes? And I was like, well, man, we don't have influence over the people who have monopoly on the use of force. So we'll go to jail. Whereas the people, like the people who don't pay taxes, if you don't get in trouble for that, you didn't do anything wrong, right? There's no such thing. Everything is in the eye of enforcement. That's a theory about structural power, which I think is so enticing for people who are very, very, very wealthy.
Yeah.
It's dark.
And then when you ask, like, why are people going in like the administration and not doing anything? It's like, yeah, they got invited on the boat.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're in the club.
Yeah.
Like, you can either fight us forever or you can just join us.
Yep.
Right? And it's like, a lot of them just join. And most people probably would join.
We got to sink the boat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Sink the boat. I can't believe, I never understood that feeling that you don't count luck as this massive assistance in your success.
I know.
These people are pathological, though.
Or not even luck. Like the other one I heard people do, and I like this one too, is and you sometimes hear athletes talk about it, is I'm not as talented as these guys, so I got to work really hard.
Yeah.
And there's like, yeah, you're giving yourself credit for hard work, but there's a humility built into it, which is all these guys around me are so fucking talented.
Exactly.
They're so good.
Yeah.
And I got to find a way to be good as them. I got to find a different way. And that might just be like, I got to work twice as hard. So there's this humility built in that is like really beautiful. It's also relatable.
Yeah, even giving it to God. Like, if it's sincere, it's like, hey, it's not me.
Right.
It's this
100%.
thing outside of me.
And
Yeah.
they mock people that do that.
Yeah.
These people mock people that do that.
No, they do.
You see it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Like
right.
somebody might accept something, some award or whatever, and they're like, I really want to thank God for giving me this opportunity.
Yes.
They're like, oh, you got to thank God. Look at you. Why can't you just think you're better than everyone else?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, imagine that person can't believe what they've accomplished and they're trying to justify it in some way. And instead of going, I deserve it because I'm better than all of you, they go, there's a fucking higher power. And
Yeah.
they just looked out.
Dude,
for me.
I feel that way being able to do what I do. I'm like, I look back on it and I'm like, there was break here, break here, break here, break here. It's like, you better make the most of it, man. There's a lot of guys who you started out with who are not in the position that you are in.
100%.